muted.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It froze for a minute. That's probably why. Yeah, but we're here. We're doing it. It's live. It's preview for the Arsenal or Watford versus Arsenal game at Vicarage Road. I've got my regular co-host Sait in the building, and a special guest Watford fan from TMATV. Pidge, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you ever so much for having me on.
No, no worries, man. Absolutely great to have you on. But before we got start obviously with Arsenal now, I want to move to quick. Firstly, I want to start with Watford. And obviously, if we look at the table right now as it stands, you're 19th in the table. Draw last time out. Um, do you feel that you can get the results necessary to survive the drop, or do you feel that it's going to be too much for Watford to try and stay above that relegation zone?
Well, the main buzzword for us is consistency, and at the moment, it's not been consistent. We have a decent result away. Definitely our away form's been better, and our home form, as most people would know. Then we sort of come back home with full of confidence and saying, right, here we go. Here's the time we've got to kick on, and we sadly don't do it. But we know we can score goals. I think under Hodgson, we've changed it about. We try to shore up the defence because before Hodgson came in, we didn't have a clean sheet. We've kept 3 clean sheets out of 4 away games. So, you know, there is progress there. You know, Hodgson is trying to get the team right. You know, you always build from the back. I just think, like I said, the buzzword with us is consistency. If we can get something, especially tomorrow, I mean, we're quietly confident that we can hopefully try and get something. But obviously, with you guys fighting for the top 4, you know, you're coming over the Vic and saying, look, these are the games we need to win. So we just need to go there with the right attitude, show a little bit more bravery going forward that we have done that we haven't done in the last 3 or 4 games, especially at home. And I think it'll definitely be a good game. It's never an open, no, massively like say 4-0 one side, 4-0 the other. It's always quite a tough game, you know, and tight game. No matter if we go to your place or you come to ours. And yeah, we're in for a good game definitely tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at Arsenal's trend, Arsenal obviously fighting for that full spot. And I think, like you said, it's these games where we've seen Man United in their game on this end of the season where they've dropped points, and we basically need to do the opposite. We need to, instead of dropping 2 points, we need to make sure we take all 3. And what it's doing, it's keeping the pressure on Man United, who probably have the most expectation because they should have the squad to finish top 4 easily. No one expected us to be in the top 4 fight with Man United with the squads they had, especially with also Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City involved as well. So um, the opportunity that's been presented to us, we need to try and take. Whether we do take it though is something I'm still skeptical about, and I do feel we might still end up just outside that top 4. And that's just probably because of what's happened with this manager before. I'm not confident with this manager whatsoever. Before I just move to quickly say, by the way, if you obviously you do notice in the corner we have got a stand with Ukraine flag there, so we're always going to be showing that whilst that terrible conflict's going on, and we hope that it comes to a quick end as soon as possible. But say like Arsenal, like if they're looking at this thinking they've got to get 3 points here and keep the pressure on Man United, surely.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think it's interesting. You know, this is a London derby, but it's not really spoken as a derby. It's not seen as a big like rivalry between Arsenal and Watford. Obviously, when Troy Deeney was there, he tried to spice things up, and we had a few interesting clashes. But overall, it's a game that Arsenal need to win, and for Watford, it's like if they get something from the game, it's a bonus. But I think what's more important for them is that they don't lose and get like a big figures, like a 3-4 nil. because it's all about keeping confidence, keeping the moral up, and concentrating for them on fighting relegation. But for us, we need to win this game. If we don't win this game, it's a big blow and it's a big setback. And I expect us to go out there and have a professional performance.
That's definitely. I feel that we need to make sure that we keep the consistency that we've got going. We've got a great run of fixtures the way we've got our last 5 games, 1-3 draw and 1 lost 1. So we're doing quite handsomely compared to the teams around us. So like if you look at Man United, for example, drawn 3-1-2, so that's 9 points. We've 10 points out of our last 5 games. So we're keeping that pressure on them, and with those 3 games in hand, which are we don't know when. I think we know where one of them's being played. I think one of them's being played some point later in this month, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's been played on Wednesday, which is Arsenal-Liverpool.
Yeah.
Now, that game I don't think we'll get anything out of whatsoever. But the Chelsea game, I do feel probably a bit confident because Chelsea, if you catch them on a bad day, we did beat them home and away last year on pretty poor form, especially away result. We just scored a goal and parked the bus for the rest of the game. I'd take that, right?
Yeah.
And I'd also take a point out of there. And the Spurs game, you don't know because it's a North London derby, so like you don't know how you can call it either way because we've had it times where Tottenham have been in the worst form in their lives, then they come to us and all of a sudden they turn up. So that's always going to be a difficult game for us. But I mean, Pidge, where would you say is like the games that for you, Watford have the best chance of salvaging any points on the neighbours nearby? Is there any key games for you that will define whether you stay up or you go down?
Well, definitely tomorrow in terms of trying to kick on and trying to get 2 positive results in a row. But definitely you're looking at the Leeds, Brentford, Burnley at home as well. There is.
I'll bring the fixtures up actually. I just got them here.
Everton as well. There's teams in and around us. Those are the teams that we need to start picking up points. So perfect. You're looking at those as okay. Liverpool, you don't really Liverpool, Man City, you don't really seem us to get much out of. We can still see if we can get at least a point at Southampton.
Do you know what? Man City, I would say you more likely get something out of them than Liverpool, to be honest. The way Man City are right now.
Play, I think, to be fair. Liverpool.
If you saw the way Everton played against them as well.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And but certainly the games coming up at home against the teams in and around us, we need to, with the mindset, certainly us being at home, attack them and try and get 3 points out of every single game. But Palace as well is another one.
What for Burnley?
Yeah, Burnley, Brentford, Leeds. Certainly we need to get at minimum 7 points from that if we're going to have any chance of staying up. You've got Leicester as well. Leicester is winnable. I mean, obviously they'll look at that as well and say, look, we need to be going to Watford and winning that. But there is some winnable, certainly 5 or 6 of them are winnable games for us, but it's easier said than done, isn't it? So we've got to get there and actually produce it on the pitch. I mean, the fans are behind them.
The last day you've got is Chelsea on the last day, which is that's not a good fixture for anyone. I mean, if we look at probably the teams around, if we looked at those fixtures for that game, if I can get them up, like they're pretty tough as it is. Let me go back and see if I can get all the way back. Let's see, 16th, 23rd, 15th, 22nd. So you'll play Chelsea. Burnley will play Newcastle, which could be a winnable game for them. Norwich play Tottenham. That's a winnable game for them. So Brentford are playing Leeds. That's going to be a massive game.
Yeah, definitely massive.
And then we're playing Everton. So we could have a deciding factor on it as well. So
thing is as well, and you're absolutely right. I mean, any help that we can get from yourselves or anyone else is, we're not going to turn down, but it's up to us. And a lot of us on the get a lot of people on the forums which are quite rightly say, oh, they've done a favour for us, or they haven't done a favour for us. But at the end of the day, we've got to do it ourselves. We've got to win the games, because if we don't win games, it doesn't matter how many the Brentfords, the Evertons lose. It's not going to matter at all, because we're still 3 points from safety. So it's up to us to grab the ball by the horns and start picking up some sort of run. But Hodson's done it at Fulham, West Brom before. He's been there and done it. He's been around the relegation picture. So yeah, I'm confident we've still got a chance.
I have a question for you.
Big up, Gary. Go on, say it.
What do you make of the sacking of Watford's managers this season? Because I was a bit surprised that your first manager, I forgot his name, that he got sacked. Was it right? Was it wrong?
Looking at it now, a lot of people are saying we shouldn't have got rid of Isco. To be fair, he should have got a bit more of a crack. I mean, when he left, we had about 7 points. Okay, be it we really only had one way of playing, but we had some sort of identity. We knew exactly how he wanted us to play. We wanted to be on the front foot. I think with Ranieri coming in, we wanted a bit more experience, someone who you had thought would have a plan B. It's never. I mean, our system always used to be we always have a figurehead. Everyone else behind the scenes stays the same. So if the figurehead goes, i.e. the head coach, everyone stays the same. But problem is, though, what we've done in the recent years and this season as well, when we've let go of a head coach, half of his staff have gone. That's the problem. So we're pretty much starting from scratch. But yeah, Isco is very unfortunate, I thought, to get the sack. Ranieri, it just didn't work out for him. Very nice bloke. Knows, been around the scene, won many games, obviously. Most notably 15-16 he won the Premier League, so he has done that. I think the only thing that exactly, mate, the only thing that held it against him is he's never been in real relegation battle in the Premier League. And I think if we've got Hodgson around the time we employed Ranieri, I think it may have been a little bit different. I think he would have had a bit more time to implement what he needed to do. But yeah, no, all the ones I feel sorry for, to be fair, because it's just the way the Pozzos work. And the fans, as fans, we do get very frustrated of how it works. We are aware of how it works, but it is. But
that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. How is your? And don't forget, anyone that puts questions in, if we don't answer them straight away, don't worry. I'm bookmarking them. You can bookmark them in a starred comments, and I can come back to them later. So you will get your questions answered. Especially this one. This one I'll save to the last. Like, because that's usually a lasting. That's like the one you last ask after Definitely. Going through it all. But yeah, I mean, how is your relationship with the owners? Because obviously they sack managers very quickly. They don't hang about. They're very chop and change, and sometimes that can have a detrimental effect to your team and to the club, rather than having a long-term manager like a Potter, like a Hassan Hootel, even Santo. Look how long he spent at Wolves, for example, got him into the Premier League. So, how is your relationship relating to those managers? To those owners, sorry.
To the owners, I mean, what they've done for the club, they've saved us from extinction. That's one thing I would say. They've improved the ground. They've improved, they're working exactly. That's the only thing I criticise them. The way we were learning from our mistakes when last time we went down. That's the only thing I would criticise them for. In terms of the overall, they saved the club. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have had the club, because Bassini just tried to rinse this club out of so much money, and he was absolutely horrendous. So I thank him for that. But I think it's the people around him. Me personally, I know there was one or two people saying get rid of the owners and stuff, but I think it's the people around him, like a director of football, Duxbury, which he has good intentions, but it just hasn't worked. And we're getting rid of coaches here, but if it was one of those guys, I think their positions need to be reviewed. But in terms of the owners, yeah, most of it's been good, definitely. I wouldn't want them to leave, put it that way. Has he gone? Static Pidge, do you miss Deeney? Yeah, certainly do, mate. Yeah, he got to the point where he wasn't scoring many goals, Static, mate, to be fair. So yeah, it was one of those things we had to, you know, he wanted to go back to Birmingham. We were happy. He got a decent send-off. He came onto the pitch good few games ago and said goodbye to the fans. So at least he got that sort of goodbye, and he's got what he wanted. And we needed to move on. I think in the Championship when he was playing, I think he had a couple of games out. We changed our system under Isco after the Coventry draw, and it seemed to have worked. And I think going forward, yeah, we needed him to leave. But his leadership, we certainly do miss, Static, mate. So we're lacking leaderships and leaders in the Watford team. And we have got Sissoko. I know you guys won't be big fans of him being ex-Tottenham, but Sissoko's been fantastic for us. But we are lacking leaders.
I've always rated Sissoko, to be honest.
Yeah, he's a good player.
By the way, that wasn't my internet. I had to stop for just 2 seconds, but we're back. Yeah. I mean, like if you've got an owner that saves the club, that's all well and good. Right, that's all well and good whatsoever. I mean, compared to ours, I mean, our owner would be like Bossini was. He would rate him out of every single penny that this club had got. Sort of like if you saw what happened with Abramovich, he's sending his club for and he's servicing all the debt that the club owes him. If that was Conky, he'd ask for every single penny back. Right, and that's the difference. He'd make sure he bank up Arsenal before he gets rid of it. So, yeah. So for me, it's yeah. You can see some difference, but like it's like I've always said before with Watford that chopping and changing managers never usually works out in the long run for me. So
yeah,
there you go. So but yeah, Statics just asked, who's your favourite and worst player at Watford?
My all-time. Yeah, sorry, mate. Go on.
Do come an all-time as well. Yeah.
Yeah. My favourite player, I've got a tattoo on my arms from Ramage. He was a mid-90s player. He played for 2 or 3 seasons for Watford. But I'm good friends with Luther Blissett, so that's it. No one gets any better than Luther and Callie. So they're my favourite players. Ramage is my personal favourite player, but the best player I've ever seen is Luther. The worst one, oh God, there's been a few. Jamie Morley being one of them. He was mid-90s as well. Andre Gray, is more recent. Best player in the last 10 years would probably be Deeney. I would have to put Deeney in there.
Yeah, Deeney would have to go in there for me.
In the recent last 10 years, definitely Deeney. All time would be Luther. Rambo, my personal favourite. It's one of those players that not necessarily was the best player at the club. It's just one of those you cling on to. And yeah, Rambo is my favourite, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I you know what, I agree with some of those. I mean, like Deeney had, like, for example, like had always been a focal point.
Yeah.
And I think with the fans, not just so much with the club. I think he loved the club to bits. And you could tell the way he played as well, which is why he was gutted when they went down. So yeah. So yeah. What else we got? Dave, hey, do you still think will be too powerful for Arsenal tomorrow and bully them? If that's the case, Watford will win by 2 or 3. Is that something we need to be looking out for then?
I think so. I mean, I was very fortunate to speak to Lee Judges yesterday, and I was saying with them, yeah, I mean, Arsenal got some fantastic youngsters. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Saka and Smith Rowe are absolutely amazing players. You know, even the likes of Ben White and players in around Partey. You know, you've got some really, really good players, and I think that's another avenue we need to look at. Also, you know, not be too over physical, but you know, in the right sense, bully you. I think that's going to happen because we have done that in the times where we've had success against you guys. We have been a bit more bullish in how we played. You know, played the right way, bullied in the right way, but really got at you guys and had a good go. So if we get, it's all a case of inches, isn't it? You know, with football and percentages. So if that gives us the extra 2%, you know, with a pass or a tackle, and it helps us out, then yeah, certainly. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very tight game tomorrow and a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And what I like is that there's a good battle in it. Because as much as I think there will be a good battle, and I think that's no matter what you do, no matter what Arsenal will do, they will have Brighton, they will have Watford, come at them at a very vast rate of knots. So yeah, I see a good battle in this rather than just one goal. We've got Charlie and we got Spencer in. How you guys doing?
Good.
Not too bad.
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's
right.
well, nice to meet you, Spencer. Pleasure to be on the same stream as you, Pidge.
Cheers,
it's a
mate.
pleasure.
United TV. I'm good friends of TMA as well.
Yeah, no worries.
As well.
No worries. Like, unfortunately, I tag this guy along all the time. So, right. Mike, I was just gonna ask you, like, how are your feelings towards the game? And just also, and then I would ask ask Spencer the same question. Just while I literally go find my phone for 5 seconds, I need to go find it right now. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. So,
do you want me to wait for you to come back?
No. You carry on. You carry on doing it. Like,
all right.
I'll be 2 seconds.
Fair enough. I'm confident in the game. I like Watford. I like because of I'm a huge Fluminense fan. So because of the João Pedro connection, they're like the second, you know, like my second favorite team in the league. I really don't want you guys to go down. I'm fearful for it, not gonna lie. Drawing with Man United doesn't tell me much because they suck. They've sucked for a while now. Arsenal's a lot better at home than we are away. That's not even up for debate. Like we struggle away from home. I still feel like we're the clear favorites in the game. You guys are gonna struggle without Ismail Assar. Dennis is definitely someone that scares me because he runs for 90 minutes straight, and our defense is sort of like we do have spots in the game where we lose focus a little bit, and Dennis can definitely punish us there. But I predicted a 3-1 yesterday in my stream, and I nothing happened that made me change that prediction. I still feel like it's gonna be that and that. I hope the one goal you guys get is from João Pedro. I really want to see him scoring, but that's it. That's my take on the game. Arsenal's been doing well. We've been playing most of our games at home, but we've been doing well. I feel like it's going to be a little too much for Watford to take care of. Can't really see Samir like stopping our attackers, you know, even though like he's a good defender.
It's probably the most optimism I've ever heard from an Arsenal supporter.
I'm on the optimistic side for sure.
It's good. That's good to see. I am certainly a resident optimist in the Watford side. You know, on Twitter and elsewhere, I have very little patience for people that moan about everything. You know, last time Steven had me on, I was stunned at the number of people calling for the Pazzos to sell. I don't understand that. Having been a supporter of this club for decades, I remember down times, and certainly, you know, any Watford supporter that's been around more than a decade remembers those. I do feel without Sarr, it's a huge loss. I don't know how we make up for it. It's no accident that our struggles around the New Year period, while he was out, he just, whether he's scoring or not, he opens up options for the rest of the team up front that just aren't there in his absence. And since he's come back for Senegal and then back in a Watford kit, his crossing has been unreal. It's been so good. We didn't see much of it earlier in the season, and it's something he really seems to have developed since he was injured. He's putting in dangerous ball after dangerous ball. When you look at Senegal winning the African Cup of Nations, largely due to the crosses that he was putting in the rounds that he was able to contribute in. So without him, you know, where do we go? It's going to be a very defensive-minded game. I think we've seen Certainly through Ranieri and Roy Hodgson, the team has been much more defensive minded. We're going to try to hit on the counter, but one of our attacking options on the counters on the sidelines are not going to be there. So we'll see how it shakes up.
Yeah, I agree, Spencer, mate. I think counter-attacking, we've got to attack them from the very off, mate. And as you well know, you know, the amount of points we've got is against teams that we've tried to attack and show no fear and be on the front foot. I say that many times on my pods every single week. You know, we get the most joy out of that. It's just really frustrating when we don't. But, you know, clean sheets away are positive. I agree with you. We should. I'm getting fed up of people saying we need to get rid of the Pozzos. I think it's the people around them, the people they employ, have got to be held accountable. I think. I mean, if it wasn't for them, like you said, we've had Pecci. I mean, anyone who has Pecci and people like that, Bassini, of you get through those eras, mate.
You can have Conky if you want.
No, you're right, mate. You can have my I'll raise you Mike Ashley.
Yeah, you're right, Olive. Static, you know, Static's never confident anyway. Like, size, quality, I'll take him at Arsenal. Dennis is good as well. Yeah, they've got good players that could hurt Arsenal if we're not careful, especially if they play counter-attacking. So I do feel we will, even though we're at Vicarage Road, we might dominate the possession, and just try and knock away through it. And
I'm counting on us like scoring kind of early. If we don't score in the first 30 minutes, I'm gonna be worried, like, because that's a very even game, and they have a really fast attack that doesn't stop running. So that scares me.
Don't start doing an impression of Luca, please don't.
Why am I doing an impression of Luca?
When do we ever score early?
Doesn't happen often, mate. I'm counting
there you
on
go.
it
That's what you're doing.
It's not a Luca impression, dude. Like, come on.
It's like, oh god, what's he said now?
I think both teams are looking at that to score early, though. To be fair, I think whoever grabs the early initiative will probably have the game.
That is because Arteta's sucked that life, mate. You've got to prepare another 2 years for this. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. The guy hasn't even got top 4, and how can you get rewarded for getting knocked out of Europe and not even getting to anything achievable yet? You're getting rewarded for failure. Arsenal policy. Sorry, I'm trying to stay away from the Arteta contract nonsense. I'll go off on a mad one. Steven and Panel Arteta is a vampire that sucks life out of you. Certainly has that for me. He's got a point.
I don't think he does, but
yes, he does. Sure. He has a point.
I don't see it.
Shush. I forgot the
hey, stop inviting me then, mate. I'm not going to shut up when you say something like that.
I told you, he's a dictator. The threats are there.
He is, mate. Like, as much as I respect you guys, like, saying that Arteta, it sucks and that, like, he stops people from being optimistic, I feel like that's delusional. The way Arsenal has been playing, it's delusional. You can't complain about delusion on the other side.
Mate, I'm not said this. This is Sait saying this. This ain't
the
comments, bro.
I'm saying it to him.
I'm doing my job. I'm reading the comments, bro. Don't come and look, guy reading the message. I'm coming with the messages.
Like, you won 3 games on the
can see the chat. You read the chat.
We're doing well, mate. We're doing well.
Arteta's 1 year left after this season. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Steve will stay away from the Steve manager.
I still see Arsenal as most likely to get to 4th.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're most likely 4th. I mean, like, the Spencer, from the teams you see out of, well, it's pretty much 3 contenders, really. There's Spurs, as much as they want to put West Ham in there, there's Spurs, Man United, and Arsenal. Who's the one that really stands out for you as the one that could get it?
Well, I don't think, I mean, Declan Rice has an injury and then West Ham's done. He seems to be the entire engine moving that team right now. If Spurs played Man City every week, they'd be in the top 2 or 3. They can't seem to get up for other matches. I just think from what I've seen of Arsenal recently, they've put a little bit of consistency together. Left it late against Wolves, which was probably scary.
Not noticed when it comes to Spurs games, they don't get up. They don't get up. They have to make breakfast in bed.
But I see much more consistency week in, week out with how Arsenal's play. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. But they've got something there. As much as it sort of hurts me to say, after I still feel a little bit robbed from the last time that we faced you. They're not going to blow teams out. I don't think. I would think 3 goals against us tomorrow is a little optimistic, but I think they can grind it out. I think they've got an immense amount of talent all over the pitch. And they have some real attacking flair. I don't know. I would feel good about Arsenal if I were a Gunner right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been you can ask everybody on here, I've been very critical of the manager, especially in the past. But I have to say, the past 3-4 months,
Big up, Shane.
Arsenal have been solid and they've been good and they've won a lot of games. I mean, I don't think we are good enough to blow away teams or play, attacking flair football. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've become more pragmatic, which is a bit more boring maybe, but we win more games. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. I want us to win games. When we reach that next level and get better players in,
Yeah. I think
Arsenal's nastier too.
I think the end of that was that's when we'll see Arsenal playing with more attacking football. I think that was the ending to that.
Yeah. I think there's an edge to Arsenal this year I hadn't seen in prior seasons. Everybody,
and there's more of a fight there as well.
Yeah, it feels. I mean, they've always been reputationally anyway a little soft, and they're a little bit nastier. I don't think it was fun to play against Arsenal last time Watford set up against you. I think that's different this season. It's something that I think Arteta's actually successfully brought into the team.
It started last season. It wasn't just this season. I feel like Troy Deeney's comment really hurt Arsenal because from there, like we're trying to build a little bit in our cojones, like he said, like we're lacking. But that's the thing, because we have such a young squad, we don't even have experienced players to teach the kids. Mm-hmm. What happens? We get like 99 red cards a season now, so we got to find that balance. But it's good because Arsenal was seen as the softest club in the league for a long time. That's not good. It means teams can bully us. That doesn't happen anymore. But until we find that balance, we're still going to see Arsenal get more red cards than the average for sure.
The thing is, though, when we did beat you 2-1, I think he was absolutely spot on with the assessment at that point in time. Not necessarily now. I mean, that was about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when we did beat you that time with Richarlison, obviously cleverly coming up with that last gasp winner as well. And I think that was probably true, but I think we need to have that sort of attitude again coming in tomorrow if we've got to have any chance of beating you. But like I say, it's going to be a great game. You've got some very, very good players. We know that. We've got some decent players. We just got to try and be a bit more braver, especially at home. I think away, we've got it right away. I think for the most part. Definitely at home. We need to change this home form, especially with the big games coming up with teams in and around us.
Yeah, Arsenal have played well, but I'm not getting carried away. That's all. At all. Keep going. That's all I can say. Didi was right the whole time about Arsenal. Absolute legend. He was at the time, definitely. I did love how he managed to trick a tire. It just that was so funny. Even the 15-16 season, you lot decided the title first. Thanks. Right. Never forgive you for that.
Funny. Sky Sports thinks Dini still plays for us in their promo this week.
I'm never forgiving you lot for that. But then again, it was Wenger's fault for not buying a striker because we had no go.
The thing is, it's the usual pattern on TV where they just comment about our managers for the first 25 minutes. Yeah. Probably mentioned Dini, and then that's pretty much the commentary for Watford, and then it's the rest of it's you lot probably for the rest of the game after that.
That's lack of clean sheets. We went through that for a while.
Lack of clean sheets. You got was it the managers? Then the lack of clean sheets.
Number of consecutive road wins under different managers. That talking point.
Well, the thing is, like I say, I'll agree with you, Spence, because they say, oh, the last 6 away wins have come under so many different managers. I say that's a load of rubbish because they didn't state it was the Premier League because we were in the Championship last season. So that didn't really stack up, to be fair. But that's basically the commentary of every single TV place. They usually go on about 3 or 4 different points.
Yeah, absolutely, and like it doesn't do justice to, especially with some of the way of Watford have been trying to get results this season, and also in previous seasons as well. Like you just like generalize. What's the point? If you're going to generalize the whole thing and talk about Deeney for the whole point, which is old news, what's the bloody point? Deeney, in terms of Watford, is today's fish and chip paper, as I could say. He's old news. He's old news. He's past it. It's done. It's finished. Right? Talk about something progressive that's going on with Watford right now. There's got to be something there that you have to pick up on and read. And it clearly shows these media pundits do actually fuck all in research. Clearly, because otherwise they'd have something to talk about.
True.
I'm not sure that Watford yet has given everybody a reason to move on from Deeney yet, though. I mean, Stephen, I think last time that we were chatting, it was a club in search of identity, and I think we're still a little bit in search. We're in transition. We've got a fairly good young core. A club like us, you always wonder how long they can hang on to those players because all the money being thrown at young talent nowadays, that we don't expect most of those players to be around next season, whether we stay up or not. So it's just there's no identity without it.
It's kind of situation with Arsenal where we had to try and find the identity. We brought these young players in. The only thing I've said, the only other problem I said, it's not a problem bringing young youth and this project youth in. Not a problem. If you don't start finding success in the next 2 years, right? You've already got Liverpool looking at Saka, right? They're probably looking at Smith Rowe as well. They're probably looking at Martinelli as well. And if you're not careful, they're going to get offers from big clubs that are bigger than us in the Champions League, got more poor and more likelihood of winning titles than we have, right? So as much as they might be a homegrown talent, that means jack shit these days. If they get the money, if they get the right offer, they're gonna go. So you've got to, as much as you've got to say it takes time, well, you've got to find some progression in the next 2 years and be at least in that top 4 or 5. And these also actually maybe even try and challenge the league for a little bit by the time you get to the end of the second season. Because then they can see that the club's moving forward and actually looking like they could actually challenge for the title. And actually, they might want to say, no, actually, I'll take my bets here, actually. I'll take my bets because they're actually doing something here. But if you're not progressing, players will just get fed up and go. Right? And that's the only thing. And it's how long they want to take it. And yeah, that's the problem I have with this whole project youth, for example. I like opposition players criticizing my team. That should be enough to motivate Arsenal to respond and win a league title or a European trophy. It's no excuses for Arsenal. Yeah, like, but how many times have we heard it before from rivals and they've not actually done so? So there we are. 8 likes already. Make big up to everyone who's done that already. Make sure you keep smashing that like button. Go check out also Spencer on Twitter and the Pidge on TalkMU as well. And yeah, lineup. Go to the lineup. We'll start with you, Pidge. What would you put out for Arsenal's game against Watford?
Well, I'll certainly have Foster in goal. They're looking at Firmino hopefully being back. In terms of defensively, I don't think Ngaki, but I'll probably go with Foster, Firmino. I've changed my mind from yesterday. Firmino, Samir, Cathcart. You've got obviously Kamara at left back, who's been excellent. I would put Kiembe, loser right in front of them, with Sissoko obviously being the captain. You might have Cleverley in there if it's Hodgson. You might put Cleverley instead of Kiembe. The front three, obviously, with Sarr not playing, unfortunately, opens it up for, say, Cucho or Pedro. So I would go with possibly King down the right, Pedro in the middle, and then Dennis on the left. But you can switch it around. I mean, I put it up on my Tenemade Army forum, and a lot of people change certain bits. And to be honest, I couldn't really argue with them because they definitely had some decent reasons why they would say put Cucho in there, or or switch King and Pedro about. So that'd be the starting 11, which is quite attacking. It's a 4-3-3 to start off with, but it can drop to a 4-2-3-1 depending on how the game's getting on, because obviously you will dominate possession, I think.
That's absolutely. I mean, Spencer, would you do anything different to that, or would you?
I don't think so. I mean, it unfortunately a lot of times this season we've dropped into everybody behind the ball, which is one of the challenges we've had consistently this season. Is we're all out defending. We get the ball back. There's no outlet. As King has been decent at holding up the ball, but he's not advanced up the field enough to receive it and really do anything with it. He looks knackered last few matches. He needs a break, but there's nobody else to put up there. And so I think we're stuck with that lineup. As Pidge mentioned, the love affair between Hodge and Cleverly seems to continue. Cleverly seems to be one of the first names on there after Sissoko. And Cleverly, I mean, he gives us all for the club. He just at this point in his career doesn't have the speed, and certainly never had the size to really compete in the middle of the park. So I don't know. I mean, he's committed to a 4-3-3 as much as maybe with this lineup a 4-4-2 might be better to drop everybody back, but we'll end up with 8 or 9 players behind the ball anyway until there's a breakout. So I don't have anything to argue with.
I mean, before I go with my Arsenal, I'll let Marley go with his. Marley, what would be your lineup for the game? Watford. What would be your Watford lineup? The lineup for Watford.
Okay, to face Watford, right?
Yeah, to face Watford.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking you were asking me like what team I would pick for Watford, and I have no idea.
No.
For us, mate.
You could try, but I bet you wouldn't get very far.
I'd start João Pedro and nothing else matters. But but mate, other than the attack, I feel like the team pretty much picks itself, right? Because we don't have Takehiro Tomiyasu, so it's gonna be Ramsdale, Cedric.
Hey,
Takehiro Tomiyasu. Yeah, him. We don't have him. So I'm gonna go with Ramsdale in goal, of course. Cedric, Ben White, GMAG, and KT. Then
GMAG better have a better game this time. Jesus Christ, didn't give me a heart attack.
No, yeah,
right? It was once.
He's never had 2 bad games in a row, like ever since he joined. So I'm thinking he's gonna have a solid game tomorrow.
He's never had a bad game at all.
In
your eyes, he's never had a bad game at all.
No, he had a bad game last time. I told you, mate. Even gods need to walk among men every now and then.
Look. You can see the loving relationship there. See?
Yeah, he's great, dude. He's one of the best center backs I've ever seen. So, a midfield 3 of Partey, Xhaka, and Odegaard, as it has been the case. I would give Saka a rest. For the love of God, I would give the kid a rest. So I would play Pepe on the right, Lacazette up top, and I don't know, probably ESR on the left. Martinelli needs a break too.
No, I think Martinelli. We dropped Martinelli once. We never saw him again.
That's the team I would go with. Martinelli on the second half. That's a scary thought, mate. If he gets like a tired
but
defense.
In the second half is a scary thought as well.
He's a very scary thought. Second, you mean ESR? Yeah, dude. Doesn't really matter who goes. I definitely want to give Saka a break, but ESR and Martinelli interchangeable for me for this game. I don't really care. That's it.
Big up, Diggerville United, Maisie. Big up, and make sure you go and check our channel out right now. Not just Man United content, Man United women's football, England women's football, right? Matchday vlogs as well. So make sure you go out and give that a sub right now. Excellent content coming that way from lives means when you do right statement. Also, that's between them two. Yeah, in terms of Arsenal, it would be for me Ramsdale in goal. There's no question. Do you know what? I'd play Sait on the right. I won't play Tomiyasu. And I'll tell you for why.
He's not available.
He's not available.
I picked Cedric too. Yeah, Tomiyasu's not available yet.
Oh, Tomiyasu's not available yet, so you'd have to be Cedric. Yeah. Right, fine. Because it'd have to be Cedric. And I'll tell you the reason why. Even if Tomiyasu was available, I'd still pick Cedric.
Because you're picking Pepe.
Because I'm picking Pepe.
Yeah.
He needs the overlapping runner.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu's not an overlapping runner. Right? So Pepe would be effectively useless. So you'd have Cedric on the right. Got White, G-Mag, Kieran Tierney. Then I'd have Partey Xhaka, because that's the only bloody one we've got. I can't stand the dude. But yeah, set Pepe on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Odegaard in the middle, and then play Lacroix up front. Or if you wanted to be creative, put Martinelli up front, put Smith on the left.
It's a fast attack.
Mm?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably rather do that too. The thing is, I'm so sure that Arteta is not going to play someone else other than Nketiah and Lacazette up top that I don't even try.
I'd rather play that against a team like Chelsea where they've got probably a high line.
Yeah.
Well, they'll probably play a high line against this because Martinelli could be a one ball outlet over the top. Bang. Straight in. So, yeah, he'd probably play Lacazette anyway. And but yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Cedric and Pepe together and Martinelli on the left for me.
Yo, this might be the game to bring Lokonga back to play a little bit too. Maybe give Xhaka a break.
I'm not too sure about that.
If he plays alongside Partey, I don't feel too insecure, like it's... he can't play alongside Patino.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, mate, because he had a horror show last time he get played.
Oh, yeah.
So
in January, he was nightmarish.
Stevie, bro, it's Steven, by the way. No, my mates call me Stevie. We need to show passion tomorrow and work hard against Watford, because that is how you beat in struggling teams. Just work hard in them especially teams that are struggling and they're fighting for their lives. They're going to be fighting for every ball because, like, you're in a tight situation. In this situation, when you're coming towards the end of the season, the teams you want to play are teams like Leicester or Palace, for example, right? They're in the middle of no man's land. They're in the middle. They're not going to get relegated. They're not going to get promoted. They're not going to get Europe. They're in the middle of no man's land. So it really doesn't really matter where they finish. So they can kind of take their foot off the gas. Whereas if you're playing teams like Watford, Burnley, Norwich, and Brentford, they're fighting to stay in the league. So they're going to be fighting for every single point they can get. So yeah, this is going to be a game where we're going to have to grind the result out. And it's not going to be a high scoring game. I didn't think I predicted it as a high scoring game either. I swear I didn't. If I did, then obviously I'm changing my mind just thinking about it. So, but yeah, we'll move on to predictions actually. Pidge, what are you going for?
Mute.
On mute.
Sorry, mate. I usually go for 2-1. I'm going to stick with that. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game, and I think I've got a feeling we can beat you 2-1.
2-1. Okay. Spencer.
I'm in for Watford 1-0. I think we can poach a goal, and our back line's shown a lot more resolute over the last few weeks, and I think we can frustrate Arsenal's front line and hold them off the score sheet.
Okay. Marley, Arsenal fan, what are you going for, man?
I'm gonna stick with 3-1 to the Arsenal.
Okay. I think that might be what I said originally. But I'll probably say 2-1 for this game. Let me see if it's up here actually. No, it's not. It's just empty paper.
Yo, Steven, I'm actually gonna have to. I'm gonna have to run. I have to go now.
Well, Sait's coming anyway, and we're gonna finish up in a bit anyway.
So
Yeah,
guys, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been a delight, and I hope I have many streams to come with you guys. Yeah.
Well,
Catch y'all later.
Yeah. To be fair, we are gonna wrap this up anyway. I'll get Sait's prediction first. Sait, what are you predicting for the game tomorrow?
I reckon 2-0 Arsenal. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think we have to look out for Dennis and King. They're still very dangerous. But I think the difference from previous Arsenal sides that we got way more players that are up for the fight. So we got players like, Gabriel, Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Smith Rowe, they're not going to be able to bully them like they did in the past. And I think that's going to be the difference.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Anyway, we're gonna leave it there. Pidge, Spencer, it's been great to have you on as always.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Stephen.
Pidge, where can they find you, my friend?
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you very much. You can get on the TaylorMade Army forum on Facebook. Also, TaylorMade Army TV on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. And obviously on Twitter and all the social media outlets at TMA_TV. Thank you very much.
And also for the latest funky hairdos as well. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
Spencer, where can they find you, mate?
So at Watford FC _DMV, we are Washington DC regional based supporters club, which will extend all the way up to Philadelphia or all the way down to Atlanta. So happy to look for optimistic fans around the US. Thanks for having me on.
Wicked. Make sure you go and give that a follow and help them out as any way they can. Say, where can I find you, my bro?
Yeah, you can find me here on SFeatleyTV. Don't forget to share, like the content. Gonna have a lot coming up, especially next week. So look out for some great content.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna have something planned big for next Friday. So make sure you're here next Friday evening to come and see it. But yeah. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna leave it there, and you can find us on SFeatleyTV as always. Hit that like and subscribe button, like I've said before. Do it, become a member from as little as $1.99. You would become a member and also donate to Children's Disease Foundation every month just by doing so. And yeah, we're back 9 p.m. actually, just to have a good old banter stream. Actually, just to talk about anything and everything. And just banter, to be honest, because no particular subject, just questions, Q&A banter. So bring your questions in, bring your banter humour side in, and let's go. Let's do it. But yeah, make sure you check out for that. But until then, everyone stay safe, stay well, and we'll